Welcome. If you were with us on the solstice, I hope that you are all still reeling, just like I am, integrating, getting all of the crazy energy out. Does anyone want to comment on how they felt after the solstice? Tired, excited, inspired?
Very inspired. Yeah, it was really, really good.
What was what was your favorite segment?
Oh, I can't probably separate Mark Bentley and Devon Martin. That was mind blowing for me. I really want to explore those areas, and with Healy, it was just so helpful. Really good.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So we have so much stuff to get going on today, and we've got a very special guest, and I love when he joins our calls because I just call them Ken Talks, and we kind of just let them roll. So Anna and myself are typically going to be the hosts of these calls with Kristen, but since she could not join us tonight, we invited Ken, and we were fortunate enough that he was able to join us, and he is an epigenetic expert. He calls himself an epigeneer, and we are just going to learn all about bioenergetics from him and setting intentions, and we're going to kick off this 12-week journey together. So I'm going to, you know what, Anna, why don't you just say hello real quick?
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And just say a little bit about what you're excited about for the 12 weeks.
Oh my gosh, what am I not excited about? So really, I'm most excited to I feel like we started the year off with this like burst of energy, a lot of transformation, a lot of things happening. And as things change within our environment, it's helpful to come back to ourselves and kind of fall back into this resting space of reconnecting with ourselves. And so what I'm most excited about is getting very clear on an intention of what I want to create for myself over the next 12 weeks, and really integrate just tuning into myself even more than I have, I think, in the past. And just learning about myself through getting quiet and through feeling into what my body's telling me, and getting inspired by the weekly elements and the things that we're going to be going over. So there's a lot that I'm excited for sure.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing. Welcome to all the new people who have just hopped on. Ken, why don't you just say hello?
Oh my gosh, that's hard to say hello. Just hello. I've got all these beautiful faces in front of me. I've got this huge screen, so it's like you guys are like life size almost. So I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for the invite. And so I caught some of the solstice. It was beautiful. I mean, you know, it's funny. You guys are just like real and raw and just knocking it out, stepping up to the plate and really bringing some great content, good value. And so I was really honored to be able to jump in and out every now and then, and see it every single time I was there. It was like aha moments, you know. I'm like, thank you, another thank you. And so good job. And I'm excited to see where this next 12 weeks goes, and how I can help support you guys along the way, if you like. And then also maybe do a little bit of a deep dive into what is bioenergetics, right? And maybe give us some value there in terms of how to apply things. So thanks for letting me be here.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And when I say attempt, I mean, I have no idea how to do that. Know? Anna?
So the bottom of your screen says a little share screen, green tab.
Oh, there it is. It's green.
Screen. Yeah.
Wait, why did
And then
Oh
when you
my
click on
gosh.
that, it opens your options as to what you can share. So
I'm feeling extra gratitude for Kristen M. Wister right now because she usually does all this stuff. So why is it not coming up?
So when the options show up, you click on the share screen tab, then there's a bunch of options on your screen and you choose one of the options. That's going to be what you actually share. See the windows that are there?
Mm-hmm.
So you
Bear
can,
with me, guys. Okay, here it is. I just need to share.
I'm gonna go type
Share
in the address on the
and present.
because it's frozen.
Did it, I think.
ta-da.
Ta-da. Thank
Uh,
you. Okay, so here we are, the Solstice Sync Up. This is the introduction to the 12 weeks to Wellness Opulence with the goal to be fall in love with your body. Like really fall in love with your organs. Like they're your friends, they're your family. You know what they're doing. You know how to work with them. You know how to communicate with them. You know what they're telling you. So that's the goal of these 12 weeks. Here we are just going to go over a little bit about what bioenergetics are. So we're just going to kick off this conversation. Ken, what are bioenergetics?
So let's do something real quick if we could. So let's think about, so we got 12 weeks, right? You guys are doing this 12-week series. And the content that's in the middle of that is going to stimulate and create some sort of shift or understanding or deeper level of your inner creativity. But if we set an intention, and you heard this earlier, if we set an intention, so Anna was talking about this, as to who are we on the other side of the 12 weeks? Just take a moment to really think about, who do you want to be? What are your goals? Sometimes folks are challenged with some kind of an emotional charge, or sometimes we're challenged with some health issue, or maybe you just want to tune up for spring, right? Or for summer, I mean, and for the beach or whatever it is. Think about who you are on the other side of whatever challenge that you're seeing in front of you right now. Who are you? Sorry, I've got some guests that are speaking in the background. Who are you on the other side? So in other words, how do you dress? Who are your friends? How do you speak? How do you feel? What are the emotions that you really want to gravitate towards? The ones you want to keep, and think about the ones you want to get rid of. What's not serving you. So really building a very distinct blueprint of this self, of this being on the other side of the 12 weeks, okay, in all of its glory and detail. So with that intention built, then we start talking about how it's going to manifest, or how it's created. And to understand the bioenergetic, or talk about for a moment the body electric, the human body, which is an electromagnetic energy. It really is. The brain, when you have thoughts, is energy going through synaptic connections, neurons that are firing together. And when I say firing, it's an electrical charge. And so when you have a group of them firing together, this is literally a electromagnetic signal that goes out into the world. And then when you have an emotional component to that, so thought is to the brain as emotion is to the body, right? And the two come together to create the enrichedness of the experience. You need them both, right? And so the thought is the electrical charge, the feeling is the magnetic charge. And now we're creating an electromagnetic signal. And guess what? How many of you guys listen to the radio? Remember that thing, that radio? It's in your car. You can tune different frequencies. How many of you ever listened to a radio? When you tune in a frequency, it doesn't matter even if it's satellite radio, because you're tuning in a specific frequency. And that frequency is an electromagnetic signal. Exactly what you are creating when you have a thought and a feeling, the exact same thing. And you're sending that out into the field. And like energies will be drawn to you. So if you're thinking negative thoughts and you're feeling negative feelings. The universal law says, law of attraction, like energies will attract, and you'll bring that in. So this is why it's important about creating that intention. The bioenergetic body, the nervous system is the electrical system. And every time you have a signal from your brain to say, let's just do this really quick, just wiggle your fingers. Come on, wiggle your fingers. Okay. So this wiggling of the fingers requires the brain to send a signal through the nervous system to stimulate the muscles in the fingers. And every time you do that, there's a magnetic emission that comes off of the nervous system, goes out into the world. And there's now instrumentation that can read these magnetic signals, and they can find out exactly what the frequency is in your nervous system. That's the command signal from the brain to wiggle the fingers. It can be decoded. So every time that you have a thought that goes into the body, or it goes into creates an emotion, it's the same kind of signature, that there is this code that can be written. And how many of you have ever met somebody for the first time and you're just like, oh my gosh, they're just my best friend. I've known you forever. You know, we are going to be such great friends, right? Instantaneously, you know this. All right. What about the opposite? You meet somebody right away and you're like, out of here. Right. So this is this magnetic energy that's being exchanged between you and the outer world and their outer world into you. This is the bioenergetic, the bioelectric, the biomagnetic body that we operate with. And every organ has a meridian, a communications channel in between the brain and it. And some of these meridians are super, super thin. Some of them are very wide bands, some are very thin, but they do make up a full communication spectrum. And this communications channel operates at the speed of light through the water within your body, intracellular, extracellular, and this entire meridian system. And so when we're working with the organs over that, you guys are going to be doing some things over the next 12 weeks, very specific things to try to interface with the activation cycle during a circadian rhythm for a specific organ. Well, this is all bioenergetic influence, and Healy interfaces with that bioenergetic influence, literally kind of hacking the that magnetic signal. Remember what I said, when you walk up to somebody, you feel them. That's that transmission of magnetic energy. So Healy does the same thing. And when you connect to the electrodes, now we're doing it from the electrical fields, right? The bioelectric body. And the Healy's transmitter, which is inside the device, a little quantum sensor, or it's called a noise generator. It's actually transmitting that same frequency out into space. It's communicating on the electromagnetic field. So these two together start to solidify alignments, coherence, resonance with your body. And so that's what the programs are doing. So making sense of how our bodies are transmitting and receiving in this electromagnetic field, making sense of it, understanding it, helps you to kind of solidify why you're doing what you're doing, because information leads to transformation. And we need to know what we're doing. It's not enough to know, but we need to know how too. How is it working? So we can give more value to it. Does that make sense? Any questions?
If you have a question, drop it in the chat.
Yeah,
Just jump on.
for sure.
All right, amazing. Well, I'm sure we're going to get into more of that, but Anna, why don't you tell everyone like what is in the next 12 weeks? What are we doing?
Oh my goodness. So we'll be focused on wellness opulence. And I loved how, Ashley, you described it as really this wealth of health, abundance of health, and really kind of tuning into ourselves and creating alignment and coherence. And so over the first 6 weeks is basically a full bioenergetic detox. And the second 6 weeks, so just to kind of go into what does that bioenergetic detox look like, we're going to be getting into talking about the organs, the
Here's
diurnal cycle that our organs go through, as well as tuning into our circadian rhythm and how we do on a 24-hour cycle energetically, and really bringing us back into harmony with Earth, because we very much are connected to Earth's energy as much as we are to everyone else's. And so when we get into the first 6 weeks, we're going to be really focused on the physical aspect of the body. And then the second 6 weeks, we'll be exploring the creation of matter in the body, using Healy as a quantum tool to move through the densities, so we can create the lives that we all deserve. And that comes back to mind, body, and soul. So every Thursday, we're going to kind of be going into different aspects of this is really, sorry, to explain this the best, Dr. Michelle Patrick put together with Taryn these cheat codes and this series of videos we've been really inspired to be able to share with you guys. And as an example of tuning into our bodies, Ashley put up on the screen week 1, and what that looks like. And we'll be focused on the elemental theory and traditional Chinese medicine, and kind of diving into first the fire element, which, as you can see, is the heart, small intestines, pericardium, triple burner or triple warmer. And basically, you'll be given information about the organ, the associated emotions, signs and symptoms that the body might be giving you if something might be out of balance, or there's stagnation of energy or chi, life force energy moving through the body. And really tuning into what are some of the signs and symptoms that your body has been giving you. What are some of the emotions that come up for you in certain times of the day? Just tuning into yourself, going into and diving deeper into your inner ecology, to really start uncovering this information that our amazing body is built and designed to give you. And so we'll dive into the emotions associated with that, but also the different Healy programs that you can run throughout that week to support that specific organ. And it's not just supporting the organ, but also the associated emotions that come up around that, and any types of signs and symptoms that might show up. So there will be a little bit of homework, which I'm really excited for, because I feel like in the past we kind of show up every Thursday and we just kind of talk about Healy in different capacities. And this time we kind of allow ourselves to hold space for each other, holding ourselves accountable in a safe space and safe container where we can kind of move through the next 12 weeks and really focus in on what do we really want to get out of the next 12 weeks of reconnecting with ourselves, and any shifts or transformations that we're looking for, and how each week we can kind of pull in what the homework is and really focus back in on our intention, and holding that when we are working with Healy as a tool. So is there anything you wanted to add to that, Ashley?
Yeah, I brought up the homework page, the daily homework page, which I want everyone to start doing this week. We're going to get into setting the intention in a second, but this is something that I want everyone to start building a daily routine. If you're new to this kind of work, then just pick one thing, per week, and then add with the intention of doing all of them at the very end, the 12 weeks. But these things are grounding for 15 minutes. And what I find fascinating is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, but isn't grounding literally in Healy's manual?
It's actually a part of, after each microcurrent program, it's one of the, I don't know what you call it required, but the suggested practices.
Right.
Mhm.
So after or before?
After. You can either way. After is probably one of the most important times. You can do it on both sides, but after is a really big important one, because what are you doing? You're charging up the body, right? You're putting energy. The reason you have to recharge your Healy is because the energy from the battery is being put into your body. You're literally charging yourselves up with these frequencies. And so it's to balance you back down or back out, because the effect of that charging is changing your biology. But to ground brings you back into the solidification of that change. So it's really important to do after as well. You can do both.
Wow. Okay, cool. Aligned breath work. This is something that I've just started doing myself, and it's amazing. And I put a little option in here. I've been doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's this 12-minute breath work meditation. I think you can just click on it. It's a link, but you can find a breath work that works for you. Anna, do you have any recommendations on breath work? Ken?
My favorite is the Dr. Joe's work, because it's, it also does a mechanical movement of energy through the body. It's kind of a twofold. Actually, it's a threefold, because your intention, your actual breath, and the contraction of the muscular systems in your body help to bring that cerebral spinal fluid from the perineum all the way up into the ventricles of the brain, to energize and bring that energy up into the brain. So super useful.
Wonderful. 7 minutes of doing nothing. This is going to be a hard one for a lot of us. It's hard for me. And I learned this from a oracle card deck that I have, to watch an animal for guidance on how to just be and just do what they do. So, so 7 minutes of doing nothing. That doesn't mean 7 minutes of sitting on the couch watching TV. It means literally doing nothing. Why is that important?
I have a quick question, and I just want to ask it to everybody. I want to know, and you can like type a 1 in the chat if you have ever actually sat for 7 minutes doing absolutely nothing, not listening to anything, not, stimulating the brain in any capacity.
No.
There's the ones. That's good.
Wait, these people have done it or they have not?
If you have
Oh, okay. We've got some.
at least 7 minutes of doing absolutely nothing.
Okay, I have, but I don't know. But I need to do it more often.
Cool. I definitely don't, because meditation doesn't count, right?
Well, you can get to nothing. So there is a qualification for the nothing. You can get to nothing by meditation. One of the other parts of nothing is brainwave state. Getting to that alpha brainwave state where you're not so analytical. The beta brain's always thinking about something and analyzing. And so just, that practice of not having a thought, that's one of the humans' biggest challenges, is to reduce thought. Yeah.
Okay, so 7 minutes of doing nothing. Next, we're going to drink lots of water. Drink half your body weight in ounces in water. Is that even enough, Ken?
This is average, half your body weight in ounces of water. So yeah, so if you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water. Is that enough? If you are just average, then yes. But if the body's carrying excess toxins, such as excess weight, things like that it's still supporting, whether it's muscle or fat or bone or skin, the body's still being supported, every cell, and every cell has water. So there's an increase of water intake, then the more body mass there is. If you're exercising, or you're active, of course, demographics is important. If you're in a more dry area, more humid area, hotter areas, your body sweats and gets rid of it. That's part of our detox. So this is just a base. It's just a base. And then you got to modify from there.
Okay, wonderful. We are going to run 1 to 3 Healy microcurrent programs from the weekly list and journal. And I put a link to a little journal, which programs you do and how you feel before and after. I think this is really important. I did a 30-day program a couple months ago where I was doing a weight loss program. And it was the first time since I've had a Healy since I guess September of 2020 that I actually started documenting how I felt and the experiences that I was having and the results that I was having. And it was an incredible experience doing that. So I don't know if anyone else has been tracking how they feel after doing microcurrent, but it's just super useful. So do that. Move your body 20 minutes a day, walk, dance, exercise, find a new way to move your body that feels good and brings you joy. That's kind of an obvious one. And the last one is do something to fall in love with life. And I think I stole that from Ken. So tune into your higher self or your inner child and ask them what would light me up right now and do that thing. Ken, talk about this.
That's my favorite. It's honestly my favorite, because that inner child still lives within each of us, and the universe has a heck of a sense of humor. It likes to play. And so when we tend to play and be playful, we're aligning energies, energetic signatures. Like I said earlier, this electromagnetic signal is going out. And that playfulness really brings back this imagination. And as you may know, Einstein's famous quote says the imagination is more powerful than knowledge, because that's what stimulates creativity. And so if necessity is the mother of invention, the father is creativity. So make sure that you stay creative and playful.
Cool. All right, before we get to the contemplation and intention, I want to go over this with you guys. Why should we do this? Why should we commit to ourselves for 12 weeks? This isn't a diet. We're not just trying to lose weight, although that could be your intention. This is really a deep dive into self-discovery and our bodies, learning our bodies in a new way. So why should we do this? Anna, why don't you go ahead and read the first one?
So basically changing the consciousness of the planet by the part that we have inside and making changes. It really starts with us. And I love this because really a lot of people will say, oh, well, this is happening in the world and that's happening in the world. And what we forget is all of that change, if we don't take our responsibility for the inner work that we're, in charge of, the change in our environment and in the world doesn't happen. And on top of that, when you have everybody vibrating at higher frequencies using Healy, we are changing the world. And so this is a big, big piece to that.
Yeah, I was really divinely guided to make this happen. And it's been a big deal. And there's been a lot of shifts going on in my life personally. So the fact that I was just not letting go of this vision, and then it manifested in a time when my entire world just changed, there's a reason for that. And that is because we're not alone right now. Everyone is going through a massive shift. And if we can do this collectively, if we can pull together, and I'm getting major energy flowing up my neck right now, so this is my truth, we're going to change the world. And you don't think that you being one human being can have an impact on the world, but that's exactly why we've come here together at this time. So Ken, do you have anything to add to that?
I say this often in some of the talks that I do, is that there is a connection to whatever amplitude that you're transmitting, but there's a connection amongst all consciousness. And just as the flapping of a butterfly's wings in one region of the planet influences airflow on another area of the planet, so does your thoughts, so does your emotions, so does your transmission influence the entire consciousness. If we look at things, look at the planet, it's a closed loop system. The oxygen you're breathing, the water you're drinking, so did the dinosaurs when they breathed and walked this planet. It's not different. It's in a container. Our planet's in a container. And so it's a connection that we all should take responsibility for, and then raise the energy of a collective unit. So yeah, that's my take and my input there.
Okay, the next reason, beautiful, opulent, sexy organs for all. Like nobody like thinks of their organs in this way, and we should. They're like amazing, magical entities that live within us and do things for us, keep us alive and healthy. Like, why wouldn't we want them to be beautiful and opulent? So we're going to free up the density in our organs so our cells can breathe and open up. So however consciousness wants to express through us in a divine manner, from a space of light and space instead of human collective ego.
So let me add something to that. Can I?
You may.
All right, we're all adults here, so I'm gonna get. I like the word sexy, so I'm gonna go get a little sexy here. Our organs have a specific energy. Every one of them has a specific energy, and when they're healthy, vital, and alive, that energy is at its peak. So I want you guys to understand, ladies, men do it too, and I speak this to men as well, is there's probably the most highest energy center of our bodies is the root center, the source of life, the orgasmic part of this body. It's literally the most highest level of energy that we've got, which means it's how life is created. And there's no accident that there's a fit between the male and the female, and that to create life takes a very specific action, right? So that action is pleasurable. And so the power of the orgasm, and I'm just going to talk about that for a minute, because we can energize every organ in our body with that same energy. And the root center, if you've ever had that feeling within your body, all it requires is a thought to bring it up, right? The body already knows how to do it. It's not something that just happened just now. I mean, unless this is just brand new for you, it was just yesterday, you just had an orgasm. Okay, that's a new experience. But the moment it happens, that energy becomes known to us, and we can reflect on it, and we can use it, and we can place it where we want it. So if you're feeling sick to your stomach, if you're feeling low in your heart center, bring that energy up. Just close your eyes, experience it, remember it, bring it up into the space of your body that you want to energize. And it's an amazing way of raising the energy within that center. The body doesn't know the difference between something you make up in your mind or something that's happening in the 3D space. So if you need a refresher, go grab one of those experiences, bring it to the forefront, right? And then use it to energize your body. Make sense?
Cool.
You have my permission to have orgasm.
All right. Oh, okay, the next one, self-observation, discovery, and nourishment. Just self-discovery, guys. Like all the answers are here. Oh, yay, soulflower girls. All the answers are here within our body. If we just learn the language, then all will be well. So, well, this next one I think we're gonna have Ken read. Can you read it?
Epigenetic harmonization in the body, the wellness and the opulence. So epigenetic harmonization, what does that mean? Epigenetics is essentially the influence of the genetic code outside of the cell, outside of the environment. And what's the environment of the cell? It's the interior of your body. So we can send energetic signals to the genetic code. Every cell, to the tune of 800,000 per second in your body, is going to turn over. It's going to change. It's going to become anew and reborn. And the genetic code, a small fraction of it, only 3% of that code says it's going to be a skin cell, a bone cell, a muscle cell, whatever it is. The other 97% is adaptive. It's reading the environment so that the host body can fit in its environment. So think about this for a moment. The exterior or the environment of the cell is the interior of your body. And the interior of your body is the influenced area of your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. And the exterior of your body is where you live, where the friends you hang out with, the places you go, the things you know, your car, your house, the trail you walk on, the coffee shop you go to. All of those things have energy. And as we perceive them and they come into our body through our senses, through our eyes, our ears, our taste buds, all the parts that we take information in, we make judgment of it. And that judgment creates an energy that influences the genetic code. So this is why someone that's, in a very peaceful and beautiful environment, the body tends to be more healthy. One that's in a disruptive or abusive or difficult environment tends to be more sickly and less energy. So this is the epigenetic influence that's going on inside of you all the time. And so what's the filtering mechanism? It was mentioned earlier that we can look at the outside of us and we can watch the news and we can see the struggles and the difficulties going on around us, and we make judgment on that. And then we maybe get on board with some of that chaos and disorder. And that's fine. But remember, to the tune of 800,000 cells per second, what you're on board with that's building that energetic influence on the cell structure is going to build your body. So my philosophy is there's nothing on the outside of me worth degrading what's going on inside of me. So not the news, not a movie, not drama, disorder, or chaos. Yeah, compassion for human beings is number one for me. But I won't let that drama rent space within the cell biology of my body. I won't let it. And we can do that by just having compassion for what's going on and not sympathy for what's going on. Be the epigeneers, folks.
Beautiful. Thank you. Anna, you want to read the next one?
Sure. I think this really hits on what Ken just shared with us in that knowledge. The body is an antenna of creation and divinity. And oftentimes it's trying to tell us things aren't aligned with our emotional landscapes, but we don't always hear that because we don't speak the language, and the language is frequency. And to Ken's point, we are constantly picking up stimulation in our environment that, if we are unaware, will impact our internal environment. So being able to tune into what our antenna is picking up and what we're picking up and how that affects the body, this is exactly why we're doing this 12 weeks. Exactly why, to tune into exactly what we've been picking up and holding on to.
Okay, we're also going to learn to alchemize your Healy with your molecular body. If you have a Healy, this technology is your GPS, helping you figure out exactly what you want to achieve with this device. Ken, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so then a good portion, remember I said that 97% of the genetic code that is adaptive, it's reading the signals, the frequencies. So if we are running the Healy and we're either doing it, whether it be with microcurrent or with the coil, or even with the intention work of the resonance or auric systems, the modules, or even the coaching module, we're writing information into that biology. And the molecular structure of the body, cell by cell, to the tune of what? 800,000 per second. Yep. 800,000 per second. And if you do that for 24 hours, 100, that's a lot of seconds, right? And so that's a lot of cells being redeveloped. And that whole molecular body, that structure becomes a whole new system and builds strength. How many of you have just, like it was said earlier, there's cycles, and you feel stronger or more awake in some and maybe weaker and more tired in others. These cycles, they ebb and flow, but our mind can keep us in a state of balance and harmony, so that these systems can operate efficiently. The body just wants to be efficient. That's it. So that molecular structure is in your hands and under our design at all the times. Being the alchemist is super powerful.
Wonderful. The next one is understand that your meridians are like energetic roadmaps to the body, pumping chi and life flow throughout our inner ecology. This just goes back to learning our bodies. Like a lot of people don't even know what the meridians are or where they are. And if they're blocked, they're thinking something's wrong with the organ itself, but something's wrong with the roadway that's leading to the organ. So we're going to learn all about our meridians. The next one, Anna.
So understanding that problems in the body are smoke signals for future wildfires. And that is like my favorite quote from Dr. Michelle Patrick ever. Is really tuning into what are those tiny little things that potentially turn into big wildfires down the road. So basically understanding that and emotions too are smoke signals for impending wildfires in the body. And I love that aspect of this because this is my jam, working with the body and the emotions that we tend to store as these signals trying to tell us, hey, we've been suppressing and repressing some things and it's time to release them. So I'm excited to tie that into running different programs with the Healy over the next 12 weeks.
Awesome. We are going to experience embodiment. This is being in the body, feeling all your layers and textures, knowing what you're walking around in, feeling into the different textures of our bodies and tapping into the mind rather than the small fraction of the body mind, tapping into the body mind rather than the small fraction of just our minds. Ken, you want to elaborate on that?
Well, there's a practice because it's good to know what we want. It's also good to know what we don't want. Knowing what we don't want gives us another boundary. So there's a practice that I like to use every day, and that is to reflect on the day. And this comes into the journaling, Ashley, that you were talking about before, is that we look at what did I learn? What was it, my aha moments today? What did I become aware of differently than before? And writing those kind of things down. And then what am I grateful for within that learning or within that boundary of my day? And then to look at, if I had one more chance for this day, a do-over, what would I do different? Right. And that's because we now know the body differently in this moment. Every moment is a moment in time in which we're aware. And a lot of times we run redundant thoughts and redundant programs. But if we use this practice of just simply looking at what did I learn? What am I grateful for? And what would I do differently? It gives the mind and body a reflection, giving us a pat on the back, what I learned, that's something good. Also, although we learn bad lessons as well, but what am I grateful for? Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. So when we're looking at receiving something into our lives, being grateful for it ahead of the experience is priming the body cell by cell for the preparation of having it. This is manifestation at its greatest. So that's teaching these little minds, which goes into the next part of every cell in our body, to be prepared.
Ken with the mic drops. Okay. Every cell in our body is its own mind, its own universe. That quote was mind-blowing to me, Anna. Being rooted in the power of our own body's intelligence. Every cell in our body is its own mind. That's, I don't know. Anyone else want to elaborate on that?
It's got everything, its own mind, its own digestive system, its own endocrine system. It's got its own heart, its own, every cell is a living organism. And then they contribute to a grouping of cells, which becomes an organ. The organs form systems, the systems become an entire body, and they operate in sync. So this is such a great, huge, powerful tool. We can't discount even one cell and its influence on the rest. Just think of a disease, one little tiny little microbe of an infection could take down the entire system.
Yeah, I'm going to do a quick, I know it is mind blowing. I'm going to do a quick segment with an experience that I had just on Monday with a client. I work at a chiropractor's office, and I do comprehensive analysis for people using Healy, and I scan. And this woman came in, she was a physical therapist, and she asked me before I even scanned her, she was like, do people get things in the scan that they don't want to hear? And it was interesting that she said that, because it made me think there's something that she didn't want to hear. And it was one of the most intense readings that I had ever experienced. I mean, it brought up depression, anxiety, chronic pain, parasites, just like there was no sugarcoating what was going on here. I was like doing it with a smile, but I was like, there's some stuff in your cells that's got to get worked out. And she was just in complete denial. And I sent her a bunch of information, and I saw her today, and she told me that she was like not happy about the results. She just didn't feel like it was her, but she listened to all of the information. And I asked her, when I was talking about all of this, like, is there anything going on in your life? And she was like, well, I've been dealing with a family crisis for some time now, but like, I've got it together. And I was like, your cells do not have it together, my friend. And so my point is that even the strongest people, could have things going on in their cells that their minds think that they have taken control of, but they haven't. And that's where dis-ease comes from. So that's what we are addressing here. So thank you for listening to that little segment, sidebar. Okay. Learn yourself, learn your life. I mean, I don't think that we really need to go deeper into that, but I just liked that quote from Dr. Michelle Patrick too.
It does play into what you said there, Ashley, too. So that ones who are not learning themselves, denial, that arm's length from all the problems that are going on in their body. This is not really learning themselves, right? When we don't listen to the body has a very limited vocabulary. It's not like our words. We have a lot of words to describe things, but the body has a very limited vocabulary. And so it only speaks to us in certain ways, whether it be pain or discomforts or, nausea or whatever. Those are the languages of the body. And knowing thyself, learn thyself. It's one of those body sensation awareness pieces that so many times I'll just power through this, right? That's the concept. Men are worse than most ladies, but just power through the pain and keep going. That's not really giving honor to the body. It's not giving space for it to sit with the issue and then to have a moment. The body is an amazing tool. It's very resilient, but chronic disease. So we can go back to every chronic disease. This is something that's long-term, something that develops over time. When you're young, you don't really have a lot of this issue, but wait till you have a few more birthdays with 0 on the end of it. And suddenly those chronic conditions, that rehearsal, whether it be emotional, psychological, or behavioral, that rehearsal starts to have an effect, and the body just can't keep up. The energy is lowering and lowering and lowering. And I don't know how many times I hear people say, when I turned 50, oh my gosh, all this stuff started happening. Well, the truth is they've been happening your whole life. It's just that finally the body says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to give you an alert that you're going to pay attention to. And this is where some big disorder starts to come up. So we can change of one of two reasons, either a catastrophic event or an enlightened education. Right? I prefer the latter. I would rather learn how to adjust and reorganize, as opposed to in a state of pain and suffering. So this learning self is learning the language of the body, paying attention to those little things and saying, what is it you want to tell me? And just like Ashley's client there, I've got this. I've got a lot of things going on, but I've got this. But, the body won't lie. So great point.
If I could jump in there also. Hi, everybody. You said like even the strongest people, can be out of touch with things. And realistically, I literally just ended an hour-long meditation on self-awareness. And it's all about the more awareness that you have of self, the more you're allowed to soften and listen and be with yourself and accept those things. And that is true strength. And when we just power through and we deny, or we are just literally not speaking the language of the cells, right? That is a fear-based response. And those walls may be strong, but like Ken said, they will crumble. The body will alert. And so I just wanted to I literally just got done doing a meditation on self-awareness. So this is all just hitting a chord with everything that I was just speaking on, and just allowing ourselves to soften, everyone, just a little bit.
Beautiful share. Thank you. I wish I had tuned into that meditation. It would have been lovely. Maybe we'll do that with this group. So last but not least, we're going to optimize our Healy as a tool and use it to unveil our possibilities in human form. Synergy is, synergy is so sexy. It's true. It's true. So that is why you should dedicate these next 12 weeks to yourself. That's why you should commit to yourself, to your bodies, because when you commit to yourself and your bodies, you're really committing to the world and all the people you love all around you and all the people that you don't even know. So what are we going to do for this next week? We've talked about next Thursday, we are going to dive into the fire element and the triple burner, which is the heart, the pericardium, and the small intestine. But what are we doing until then? Well, we just came off of the solstice and it was amazing, but it was also a lot. So we are going to let our bodies integrate, and we're going to spend this next week in contemplation and setting an intention for this 12-week journey. So we have this little note here from Dr. Michelle Patrick. Contemplation: the human body is capable of perceiving the whole universe, but are we capable of perceiving our bodies? So if that speaks to you, spend some time and journal about that. And then intention is everything. You must create an intention for this experience. And I just, from what Ken was saying in the very beginning, I just kind of created mine. I'm going to fine tune it, but I didn't expect for what came out to come out. And I'll share it with you guys. But I want to be fully positive. I want to be fully positive in my feelings and in my thinking. I go back and forth all day long. I did this wrong. I should have done this. I regret this. I should have, should have. And I'm transforming into a higher vibrational person. And it's difficult at times because people are falling away, things are falling away, beliefs are falling away, just a lot is falling away. but I choose to fully step into this next level of myself. And so that is what I see myself at the end of this, is just a fully positive thinking and feeling being. So I'm going to fine tune it, but I want everyone else to set an intention for this 12-week journey of exploration of self. And here's a collective intention, helping the remembering and discovering of our own inner ecology. Does anyone, Anna or Ken, have anything they want to add to that?
Anna's turn.
Oh, my turn?
Anna, do you have an intention yet?
Well, I mean, have I set an intention? It's interesting because on summer solstice, when Kristen was guiding us through the guided meditation and the word that we were hearing, the one word that kept coming to me nonstop was wholeness. Just in all aspects. I wrote notes, but I don't have them with me actually. But coming back to acceptance of self and the amazing, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And coming back to a place of just complete wholeness, but really experiencing, that sense of joy and bliss from a place of feeling whole. So that was that. The word, I'm gonna be working with wholeness for a while. It seems like, and how I can come back to wholeness, even on a cellular level. So I'm still diving into it, but the biggest piece, and I think Ken touched on this, was after or with setting the intention of really thinking about how do we want to feel at the end of this 12 weeks. Because I know that the universe understands the language of feeling so much. It's what we're vibrating at. And I really want to be able to vibrate that wholeness, if that makes sense. So coming back to like, what does that really feel like for me? What does that feel like? What does it look like? What does it feel like as I'm walking through my day? Who I'm having around me, and how that all ties into my intention. What I really want to experience over the next 12 weeks. But really coming back, what does it feel like? And that's what I'm gonna play with, because I think sometimes that feeling can, feel unfamiliar when we're walking around day to day. It might be easy to come to in a meditation or when we take time for stillness. But I want to be able to walk through life with that feeling. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. I'm interested to see if anybody has been thinking about what their possible intentions are. Anyone?
I'm sure people are. Sam?
It's me. I just wanted to say, Anna, when you ask yourself, like, what does that look like? What does that feel like in my life? Like, I think that's such a key part to setting an intention, because a lot of times we set an intention and we're like, I want to feel this way, or I want to be like this, or I want whatever. But we pause there and we don't ask ourselves, well, what does that actually look like in my life? And I think that's something that I've been asking myself a lot lately, and something that helps me, because like you said, it's easier to meet that feeling in stillness or in meditation, but out in the day, it can be challenging. So what I've been doing is like, I try to give my intention a color, and I like sit with it for a few minutes, and I sit with my intention and my color, and I breathe it in and I let myself be filled up by it. And then I imagine myself breathing out that color. And then as I'm going throughout my day, I try to imagine myself like literally being that color, which is silly, but it allows you to vibrate like that thing a little bit more easier with like, it's a little bit more palpable, I guess, you know, just a little throw in there. I put my, yeah.
All of your shares are so amazing. Yeah. Megan said, not silly, makes it more tangible. I agree. Thank you for sharing. We're a few minutes after, so I wanted to just say, as far as Healy goes, this week, I encourage everyone to just focus on the coherence program and also the gold cycle programs. Ken, do you have any like advice on that?
So the fundamental basis of Healy was Nuno Nina's 144,000 gold cycle frequencies. And they're programmed in, built in to that gold cycle page. The reason that the fundamental entry-level addition to Healy is a gold, because those 7 programs are essentially alignments for every human being. And there's 7 of them, one for every day of the week. So at the minimum, you can rotate through those once a day. Or throughout the week, you can do 1 program a day. But those are super simple to look at the name and find out what resonates with you. I mean, if you're feeling down in the dumps and you see something that says energy, wouldn't that be cool? Right? Run the energy program, right? Or if you feel like, man, I just feel thick and heavy, you know, maybe there's a release program that would make sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's using your own intuitive skills to look at that page and really start from the fundamentals. I taught martial arts for decades, and every class we would start with the fundamentals, you know, getting the body ready and then doing the training. So it's really important that we look at the fundamentals. And in the understanding of how we manifest, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're being. So be sure that you're clear on what you're being. This subconscious state of being, when we're not really, analytics is not the right word, but we're not being aware of how we're acting, behaving, perceiving, and doing, then we're going blindly into a default system that's going to give you exactly a default result. So pay attention, be diligent, create your intentions, and again, my philosophy is always looking at who I am on the other side of the challenge, or the 12 weeks, or the timeline in which I'm interfacing with. Who am I on the other side of that? And then really be diligent about paying attention to get it. Who am I being? Thank you guys for letting me be here.
I just added that to the chat. The universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you're being. Ken, mic drop. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is going to be really fun. It's going to be an amazing journey, and I'm grateful that you all are doing it with me, because I sure as hell need this just as much as anyone else. Yep, I wrote that too. Boom. All right. Well, we're going to share the actual video if anyone wants to watch it. The introduction video. It basically just said everything that we just said, but listening to Taryn and Dr. Michelle Patrick is a transmission that everyone should hear and experience. So I'm going to send that out. I probably should just add it here in the chat. I'm going to. So bear with me. Or you don't have to, but it'd be a lot cooler if you did. Anna and Ken, you guys talk while I try to figure this out.
Oh my gosh, you know, you guys, I can feel your energy. I see your smiles, your expressions, and your acceptance. That's a huge benefit as you navigate your days, your moments, your life, to go out there and really embody what you believe, and be willing to surrender what's not serving. I'm telling you, that's one of the hardest things for the masculine to do. I envy the feminine energy to be able to like, you know what, this is not serving me. It's out. And too often we stick with something because it's familiar, because it's habit. And yet it's creating disorder, disease, and just, a feeling we don't want within the body. So my word last year, 2021, was surrender. And I'll tell you what, try that experiment. There's an amazing book out there by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. I highly recommend it. And he did a 40-year project on what that means in terms of surrendering, leaning in. And I've seen Ashley lean in on some stuff and surrender old paradigms. It's not an easy task.
I don't know.
It's really.
Oh, sorry.
It's 2 + 2
Sorry. That's the video. Keep going.
Well, the body remembers. Remember I said everything's built into the body, it's in that genetic code, 800,000 cells per second. It takes a while for that to get built out. So we change something in the mind, the body continues to remind us. How many times do you see the blue car that reminds you of the ex-boyfriend or the whatever? Or you hear a song that gives you some stimulus that's not serving you anymore, right? The body remembers, but you got to go right back. Let the mind be the generator. It be the master. The body is done being the master. Now let it be the servant and let that mind reorganize it. It'll do it. Just takes a little time. Be patient. Love yourself as much as I love you guys.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. These Thursday night calls are my church. So thank you. Does anyone have anything that they want to add? Just say hello. Anything they're excited about, they want to share, say thank you. Not to me, but anyone else. All right.
I just want to say thank you. This is absolutely wonderful. I can't get over all that you are bringing to us through this program, these next 12 weeks. I'm just amazed. I mean, we've just taken like the little bite tonight. We took a little bite the other night at the solstice and then another little bite tonight. And I'm really blown away with all that everyone is bringing and everyone is giving. I can feel each and every one of you, as Ken said, you can feel we are all so present for this. We have all just shown up in such a beautiful way. And, Kristen and Ashley, thank you. You have put so much energy and effort into this, which is just so beautiful. But all of these other ladies as well. And you can, I don't know, but I just, maybe I'm crazy here, but I'm just feeling so much goodness and joy and enthusiasm coming from you gals. Like we're just standing here ready to leap and grow our wings on the way down, because these next 12 weeks are going to be such a beautiful transformation for each and every one of us. And we get to do this together. I mean, my goodness, how awesome is that to do that with these beautiful hearts? It's beautiful. So that's just what's coming up for me.
Thank you.
And if it comes up, it has to come out. So that's what you get when you get me.
Thank you.
I love that. If it comes up, it has to come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mic drop.
It's the truth.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Thank you, guys.
All right. Work on those intentions, everyone. Oh, Stephanie.
I have a question.
Oh,
What do you guys think about charging stuff with the Healy? Like when I'm painting, now the murals I've been using the Healy specific frequency. So when I paint, I can put it in the wall. How do you think that affects the final product energy?
Especially if that's your intention. 100%.
Yeah, if I can offer some input on that. So when you run a frequency out of, just say the coil, all right, just so you use the coil and you run the frequency, or even if you use the electrodes, and you can actually put the electrodes in water, by the way, it's not going to hurt them, and you can charge the water. So if you're painting with watercolors, for instance, You can actually charge the water that you're mixing the paints with, right? You can actually charge water that you missed something with, your face, your body, your canvas. So you can charge everything with the Healy, and the coil does a very good job of that. So if you're looking at painting a picture and it's something from the heart, from this chakra, run the heart chakra through the coil while you're doing the movements, doing the action, and you're going to infuse that energy right into the painting. So
I love that.
absolutely use it. Yeah. And if you have
Thank you.
another reason to have more than one Healy is that you run one on your body and one on your project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
I only see Zoom user on your username. What's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Veronica Chandler. I am from Ecuador, that I live here in Delaware. Met Ashley, got in the Vibe Tribe. I'm an artist, and since I use the Healy, like all these amazing things through my art has been happening. Like I think this is Ashley. She has like these powers. And like I've been like publishing magazines, and like I've met some amazing people, been able to participate in some charities with my art. So I'm super happy, and like I want to put it all, like these emotions, in my art, and that's my goal, to whatever I'm feeling, to put it in the art so other people that see it can feel it and raise their vibrations. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everyone. Like you're seriously making like, and all this heat is coming up from my neck. I'm, you guys think that I have power, but it's you guys who are giving me power. Honestly, we're doing this together. This is not just me. It is a partnership, and it is beautiful, and you guys are changing my life. So thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Can't take this anymore. Anyone else want to say anything? We're gonna end it here. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Same link. We will see you, and we are going to dive into the fire element, the heart, the small intestine, and the pericardium. So, thank you. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This was wonderful.
Really disappearing.
You're so wonderful addition.
This has been, whew.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Erin.
Oh yeah, loved it. Great to see you again. Great to see you, Anna.
Yeah, great to see you guys.
Hey, Anna.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.